Good day, this is Reverend Michael Mitchell at God's Barn Church. We're continuing on our multi-sermon on gifts of the Holy Spirit. I'm going to do a small talk here about something that happened to me in 1983, and I believe it's part of the Holy Spirit, and it's a personal thing that I experienced. I just want to pass it on to you. 1983, I was in Montana. I attended evangelical churches, Foursquare, Assembly of God. On one occasion, I attended Assembly of God Church. It was a pretty large church for, I guess, Montana. The pastor was a senior pastor. He was an older person. And he sang really good. He had a great voice, and he had a great ministry, and he was a worship leader. He was very, sound in his theology. And if you've never been to a evangelical church, I think the name is today, generally, churches will allow in these churches much more time for the Holy Spirit to move among the people. And this is a must in church. And if your church is not allowing the Holy Spirit to move in your church, you may need to talk to your pastor about that or whatever, because if the Holy Spirit can't move in your church, you're not going to see miracles. You're not going to see healings. You're not going to see deliverances. You're not going to see signs and wonders. That's the power that is ours. We have to ask for it. We have to want it. We have to desire it. So anyway, back to this church. I was in a church, and during that time of worship and prayer and meditation upon the Holy Spirit, this was one of the few times that I'd heard that the pastor says, we're going to sing in the Spirit. Singing in the Spirit is mentioned with Paul one time. It's certainly just another way of expressing the Lord. The reason I mention this is that at the turn of the century it became quite popular in churches, and the choir would sing, and it would be of one voice in a melodious tone. And during that time, it was a witness to have many miracles follow it, signs and wonders. I think it faded out somewhat. But I know in this instance that the man was adamant about it. And I know that if you just listen to it, what it sounded like, I don't know, just kind of a bunch of folks off key. But nonetheless, I was doing this, and I had a voice come to me, and it says, "Be really still. Just where you're at, Jesus Christ is standing right next to you." And I mean, I don't get things like that generally. But anyway, I said, "Well, what do you want me to do? You want me to lay down on the floor? You want me to run? I can run out of here if you want," because that's what I wanted to do. The energy from this, the Shekinah presence, was so strong. Even with your eyes closed, it was like a push me, pull you. It was the most wonderful thing, the most wonderful experience I ever had in the world. But again, it was so strong that you almost couldn't handle it. Does that make any sense? And I remember asking again that angel, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "You want me to lay down? Whatever." And he says, "No, you're fine, just stand there." So, the moment passed, and we stopped and everything. And I'll tell you from this experience, I found two things in this. One thing is for certain. This power, the Holy Spirit's power, if you had that power that I was near, you could do anything. You could raise people from the dead. You could move oceans. You could move mountains. I'm telling you, it is unlimited. I can't explain it to you, but I'm telling you, if this is what these folks had in the old days, it's a mind blower. It's a mind blower. Now, why did I experience this? Why me? I don't know. The only reason I can think of that, because I went to prayer services all my life, and I've never been more holy or spiritual than anybody else. In fact, a lot of the time I was on the other side of the fence, I suppose. But I do believe that the 1983 experience of Jesus ministering to me had something to do with this experience up in the closet, up in the bedroom. That's what I believe. I believe that this was looked ahead 30 years from the way, and I think this was a preparation for this. I don't know. When I get on the other side, I will ask about that. But the reason I tell you that story again is the sheer power of that was absolutely amazing. And I've never forgot it. And I've talked to other people about it, and they've like, yeah, wow. But as you get older and your experiences you have in life that are unexplained, at least for me, they take on great importance. They're somehow linked together. They're not just random things. They're not just picking something here or picking something there. As a person gets older, I think that's why they become more settled in Jesus, more settled in the Holy Spirit, because they've got a track record. They've got a track record, and they know what Christ has done for them and what he can do for them. And that's what, as adults and seniors, we want to pass that on to our kids. We want to pass on the goodness of Christ and the power of the Holy Spirit. So I want to put that story up. I just have been wanting to do that for a long time. So I'm gonna cut the tape here, and I'm going to come back in a minute, and I'm going to deliver the main sermon. Thank you.